Hey y'all, Yadi here, back with just some of the wildest Reddit stories with updates. Everyone loves updates, including myself, so let's get into it. We were sitting on the couch, drinking a few beers, watching DVR reruns of The Twilight Zone. It's my day off, and my friend got kicked out of his house about a month ago by his girlfriend. As far as I know, he did nothing wrong. He's been sleeping in a hotel, and my wife and I offered to let him stay at our apartment for a few weeks until he can find a place of his own. Anyway, we are sitting on the couch, and he runs out of beer and gets up to go to my kitchen to get another. He puts his phone face down on the couch. Don't look through anyone's phone unless you want to be disappointed. I shouldn't have, but I picked it up to look at it. He was looking at a picture of my wife, naked. Excuse me? You're homeless on my couch, looking at a picture of my wife, naked, right next to me? Are you crazy? I'm almost certain it's her. I got really uncomfortable at the thought that he's browsing his phone, looking at a pic of my naked wife right fucking next to me. Exactly, and he didn't even attempt to hide the fact. No explanation needed. Go ahead and pack your undies and get out of my house. I quickly put the phone down where he had it, and I locked the screen to be safe. When he came back, I went to my bedroom to type this. Guys, what do I do? Tons of thoughts are swimming through my head. Please help. I don't want to do anything I regret. Just start helping him pack his things, dude. I don't care if it isn't your wife. It looks too closely like her that you thought it was her, which means she has an attraction to her, and that's weird. Edit. I have been advised to keep quiet until I know that without a doubt, he has a nude picture of my wife on his phone. I need to see it again to be certain. I don't know how to do it though. I hope the universe never puts me in a situation like this because I will confront you and ruin the whole vibe. I told my wife that my friend, our mutual friend, has been staying in a hotel for a few weeks after he got kicked out. We both decided to let him stay here for a few weeks until he gets a new place. I didn't get a long enough look at the picture to say whether or not it's my wife with 100% certainty. There was no face in the picture. I do not want to go around throwing out accusations. Update. My wife will be home from work in an hour 45. My friend is currently working on something in the room he's staying in. Not sure what. I'm in my room, reading the comments. I'm going to text my wife something mundane and see if she responds. I'm not going to bring anything up. I just want to see if she'll say something back. I'm thinking of a few excuses to see my friend's phone. If you have a good one, let me know. I think you should get him drunk so he can be an idiot and leave his phone unlocked. Update number 2. I was given the idea to tell him I can't find my phone and ask him to call it. He was reluctant about letting me use his phone. This is where I'm worried. If he has nothing to hide, why won't he let me see the phone? I don't know, maybe he's really protective. My phone has all my top secrets, so I kinda get it. I won't just let anyone touch my phone. He said, just walk around the apartment and I'll keep calling it until you find it. I didn't want him to think I was suspicious, so I agreed. I told him I found it and ended it there. He's going to work soon, so I need to get to his phone soon. Update number 3. Friend is gone to work. Wife will be home in 15 to 20 minutes. Still haven't been able to see the picture. Should I ask my wife anything when she gets home? She didn't respond to my mundane text. I forgot to mention that. Either the wife and friend got a little something going on, or the wife has no idea. So to play it safe, I advise to not say anything to your wife. For those that were wondering, from what I remember, the picture was a woman presumably laying down with her shirt open. She had large breasts, which my wife also does. That's all I remember, because after I picked it up, I got a sick feeling in my stomach and locked it, then put it down. If I could see it again, I could pinpoint for sure if it's her or not. Now, onto the update. She left her phone at work. I'm worried. This has got my head spinning in all sorts of ways. I prodded just a bit and asked why she left it, and she said she just forgot it. Guys, holy shit, I'm nervous. My friend is at work. I can't check his phone. My wife's phone is at work. Fuck, I don't know what to do. I'm going to stay as calm as possible and not give anything away. Is this a sign she's hiding something? I really don't want to assume the worst. I just need to calm down for a bit. God damn it, am I craving some Vicodin again? I used to be addicted to it and the urge is back, but I know I can't do it. That's so sad. This guy is going through it. I just can't even imagine the stress. Just to be safe, I called her phone and it did ring the full 30 seconds or so. I'm trying to slowly deduce what's going on. I'll update when I have more. I just love how this guy's venting to Reddit like we're his besties. Update number 5. My wife is going to the gym. She'll be back in an hour. I feel so bad. I feel like I'm going behind her back. I love this woman to death and don't know what I'd do without her. Yeah, I really hope his wife has nothing to do with this. I keep being told to confront my wife or to confront my friend. What should I do? I'm not going to accuse them at all. That would be wrong. So I might just let this play out little by little. It might be time to confront your friend because How in the world did he even get that picture? Update 6. Final update for tonight. So far, my post has been removed several times, and I promised I would tell you guys what was going on. My wife hasn't come home from the gym yet. Still no phone. I am angry and very stressed. I'm going to bed, guys. I hope I haven't failed you people. Please don't hate me. Bro, we're worried for you. Who cares about us? Update 7. So last night I had a pretty mean headache. I'll get them when I'm really stressed, and I decided to call it a night. My wife got home soon after and walked into our room. When she turned the light on, she saw me laying down. She apologized and turned the light back up. She asked me why I was laying down. I just told her I was stressed, and she sat down on the bed next to me and asked me what was up. I just said, work, and left it there. She said okay, then kissed me on the forehead and asked me if I needed anything. I told her I was alright, and I fell asleep not too long after the conversation. I woke up in the middle of the night. I was having trouble sleeping, and I walked into the living room. On the balcony was my friend having a smoke. I started feeling really angry and wanted to go out there and confront him, but I knew I needed to stay calm. I walked out onto the balcony, and we made small talk for a bit while he finished his cigarette. It was silent for a bit, and I asked him why he was kicked out of his girlfriend's house. Like I told you before, dude, I'm not really sure. She just did, I didn't do anything. It felt like such a lie. I just really wasn't thinking about it the first time. I'm sure he's hiding something. He said it with such a disregard for the question. Kind of like when your parents would catch you doing something and they would ask you what was going on and you would say, nothing. Yeah, he's guilty. He answered so defensively. So now we can ask him what type of pictures he has in his phone. We said our goodbyes exactly like that. I didn't question him any further for fear he might think I was trying to get something out of him. We talked for a bit longer about nothing important. I told him I was still pretty tired, so I wanted to go back to sleep. He said good night and I went back to bed. I couldn't sleep though. I was tossing and turning, troubled by the thought of something being up. I got up a while later to go to the gym. From there, I go to work, and I had an idea. I was going to sneak into his room and get his phone and look at it. The only problem being his door was locked. He has some courage, because what if he wakes him up? What if he's a light sleeper? Imagine getting caught mid-investigation? Nah. I went to the gym, but didn't do much because I felt so discouraged. I got to work where I currently am now and decided I would use the advice I was given and check the message history through our service provider. That was tough to do because I had trouble remembering our account info, but I got it all secured. Oh wow, I forgot you could do that. We should have started there to clear the wife's name at the very least. When I looked at the message logs, I felt like, again, I'm betraying my wife. So I texted her, no answer. She must have not gotten her phone yet. I waited a while until I felt my phone vibrate. Her, sorry babe, got my phone back. What's up? Me, just wanted to see how you were doing. Sorry, we didn't talk last night. I was really stressed. Her, it's okay, kissing emoji. Me, I got a question though. Do you know why enter name here was kicked out of enter name here house? No response. That was a few hours ago. So I'm still waiting, hoping that she'll answer because I'm having a bit of an anxiety attack. I gave in and checked the phone logs. There were a bunch of messages back and forth between her and myself, her and her mother, her and a few of her friends, and lastly, her and the guy who was staying with us. Nothing incriminating. Only her asking him if he wanted her to pick up something for dinner, which she also sent me. So honestly, guys, nothing major yet. I'll update if she texts back and if I have more to tell. I have a few more ideas to stuff I can do, but like I said, I'm not going to accuse until I have absolute proof. I still do not think my wife is cheating. I just want to know what's going on. I get off work in about an hour. Final update. 8 updates. Which I'm not mad about, but 8 updates is kind of wild. Let me start off by apologizing for taking so long to finally write this post. When shit hits the fan, it gets everywhere and takes a while to clean up, so thank you all for your patience. Getting to the good part. After my last update, I headed home. I was finally going to man up and ask my friend about what I saw on his phone. When I walked in the front door, put my stuff down, and headed towards his room, I walked past the bathroom and heard the shower, so I figured he was in it, so I'd wait for him. I went into his room, and right fucking there on the bed next to his bag and jacket is his fucking phone. Let's go! My stomach dropped again because I knew there was no going back. I was going to pick up his phone and figure out what is going on once and for all. His phone had a passcode on it, but that was really easy to guess. I tried the 1, 2, 3, 4, then the reverse, and after about 4 or so guesses, it turned out to be the year he was born. Anyway, I went to his photo reel and opened it. I scrolled through a few pics of different things, and then I finally landed on it. Fuck! I recognized the shirt and the room it was taken in. She took it. That is a picture that she took here in our apartment of her upper body. That was my wife, and my friend had the picture of her on his phone. We're gonna square up with you, bro. I got really, really angry. I couldn't hold it back, and I walked over to the door of the bathroom and started banging on it like a madman. I'm yelling his name, telling him to get out. The water goes off, and he's yelling out to me, asking what I want, and I kept saying over and over to open the damn door. He finally does, and he's putting on his pants. What the fuck do you want, man? I'm getting ready for work. Don't talk to me with that tone, knowing you got some bullshit on your phone. I kind of rhymed there. That's when I dropped the question, why the hell do you have a naked picture of my fucking wife on your phone? His eyes were huge and he just started stammering, so I asked him again, but with more force. Why the fuck do you have a naked picture of my wife on your phone? He was trying to speak but kept stuttering and put up his hands to try and calm me down. I wasn't going to hit him, but man, I really wanted to. He just kept saying, wait, over and over. He gained his composure and I swear to God, he says, I know you're mad. I cut him off yelling, no shit, at the top of my lungs. Did my wife send you this? I asked over and over. I was just so incredibly angry. He finally tells me no and explains what happened. This scumbag piece of shit stole the fucking picture from my goddamn phone. I don't even know how, but apparently iCloud does bullshit like this where it stores your photos even after being deleted, which reminds me, how do I disable that and get rid of the pictures? Anyway, he went to my phone and sent it to himself, then deleted the message. How desperate and lonely can you be to deeply search through your friend's phone for his wife's nudes? That man acts like he's a pirate digging through iCloud. I can't believe I fucking missed it when I read the phone thing. I didn't even think my texts would be relevant, so I ignored them. I asked him if he had any more, and he swore to God he didn't. He only had the one, and wasn't going to do anything with it. Well, not anymore, I deleted it. He started apologizing over and over, and well, I didn't give a fuck. I told him to leave, to get all of his stuff and leave, and that I didn't want to see him again. If he came back, he would regret it, different stuff like that. I texted my wife I needed to talk to her ASAP, but she, again, didn't respond, which is because her phone was dead, not because she was hiding something. My wife got home like 45 minutes or so after the son of a bitch left, and when she got in, I calmly asked if I could talk to her. She said yes, and then I asked if she could plug in her phone real quick since it died at work. She didn't take long, and it gave me enough time to think of what I wanted to say clearly. She came in, sat down, and I started talking. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. His name is Hayden. Fuck that dude. I don't care enough to keep his name safe. Girls, if your man's name is Hayden, you better watch him real closely. Hayden has nude pictures of you on his phone. I wasn't going to accuse, I just wanted to tell her and see how she would react. She had a very confused look on her face, but the one where you say, what? Real sternly. I explained to her all that went down with Hayden and I. She was so angry, almost as much as I was. She looked like she wanted to cry, and that made me want to cry. She kept asking where he was and what happened. I told her I deleted the pic off his phone when I had it and kicked him out. She was asking if he had any others. I told her what he told me. She doesn't believe that to be truth though. Also, if there were legal repercussions for what he did, and I told her we would check it out. Secondly, I wanted to be open and honest with her. I didn't want to hide anything. I explained what happened over the past day and a half about the first time seeing it and being worried because I recognized it but wasn't 100% sure it was her, and how I started getting really anxious, worried that something went wrong in our marriage, and that I drove her away and all these fears. She sat close to me and we held each other close. I was in tears over this emotional roller coaster. I was so stressed, worried, sad, and angry at the same time that it all started coming out. She held me really tight and told me I was a good husband and reassured me that I was good after a bunch of bad shit that went down in our past. She could tell I was worried and hurt, and she was just there for me. That's so sweet. He really thought he was losing in marriage over a dumb piece of trash. We both just needed to cry, I guess. It's cathartic and really helped. I don't know what I would do without that woman. I love her to death. I was really tired, and after our breakdowns, we didn't feel like doing anything, so we laid down most of the day talking about what we were going to do to fix our situation. I went over to Hayden's ex's house and asked her why she kicked him out and explained the situation with him having a pic of my wife on his phone. Turns out the motherfucker cheated on her. I'm not surprised. Relationship fell after relationship fell. They just never learn. Messed up his girlfriend's relationship. Messed up his friend's relationship. I was disgusted. I never expected him to do that. But after what went on, it didn't hit me as hard as I thought it would. She was pretty disgusting with Hayden's behavior and told me a lot of stuff I never knew about it. It was really uncomfortable to hear, but she needed to vent. I went to a law office close to us and asked around about the legal repercussions of stealing someone's photos. They gave me a number of different options that I'm going to bring up to my wife. The biggest one that I see working is a lawsuit. When I got home, my wife showed me a bunch of texts she received from Hayden. He sent me a few that I ignored. He was more than likely drunk because the texts were so hard to understand. He kept apologizing and would send one every 10 minutes, and it was getting annoying. She turned off her phone. The rest of the day was quiet until he came to our door and started begging us to forgive him. I felt really bad. This dude was sorry, drunk, probably didn't go to work, and tired. I told him he needed to leave us alone and we would get in touch with him later. He was okay with that. I'm not sure where he went, but I'm assuming it was a hotel or possibly another friend's house. Before you ask, he didn't drive to our apartment. He took an Uber thing. He started pestering an Uber thing. This was in 2016, so like I guess Ubers weren't like that. Now it's not called an Uber thing for sure. He started pestering us more and this time was getting a bit violent with threats and different things. This guy was acting like such a fucking scumbag. He tried to be nice, but now he's trying to play innocent while threatening us with some of his "I didn't do anything wrong, don't tell anyone or I'll fuck you up." Oh, he's not sorry at all. He's just sorry that he got caught. He was really pissing me off, wouldn't stop calling us. My wife was worried that he would come over and try and make good on his threats, so I stayed with her the entire day, mildly worried myself. We both decided we are going to press charges now because of how immature he is being and even threatening us. I thought we could handle this like adults, but now he's bringing it on himself. I want this all to be over. I'm tired and want things done, but it'll come in time. Thank you guys for being there for me on this crazy journey. It really means a lot that strangers on the internet want to help me with my problems. I needed a place to vent and validate my suspicions and just feel like people had my back if it all went downhill. Thank you so much. You people mean a whole lot. Aside for the occasional death threats and just weird stuff, I appreciate the messages you would send me so I felt like I wasn't alone. Thank you, Reddit. First of all, Hayden is insane and very much selfish. You're using your friend's apartment as a hotel, then you steal his wife's pictures and look at them right next to him. You were never a friend, buddy. I'm glad there was no divorce and no one was guilty other than the weird couch surfer. Moral of the story, don't go through people's phone and get the full story as to why your friend got kicked out before you let them stay. Anyways, next story. For months I was confused why I kept finding long hairs in my house. Then I saw my neighbor coming out of my house. I'm a man in my 20s that lives alone in the very top floor of an apartment block. I've had short hair for the last 10 years of my life. The longest hair on my head is maybe an inch long, if that even. However, across my house I kept finding long hairs on the floor, like long brunette hairs, at least 5 to 6 inches, sometimes longer, and they would be everywhere: bathroom floor, in the shower, in my cupboard, in my kitchen, on old clothes, living room floor, and sofas, etc., etc. At this point, I'm thinking something paranormal is going on, cause what? I've been single since November and clean often enough that I'm certain it's not my ex-girlfriend's hairs. Plus, the color doesn't match anyways. She had solid black hair. These are more a light brunette. Plus, finding them in places like the shower, where running water is hitting all the sides 5+ times a week. Anyway, I waved it off as well. I work with a lot of people and use the gym and bus sometimes, so naturally, hairs are going to stick to my clothes. This is exactly how you end up on a true crime documentary. Why are we ignoring all the red flags? Hairs everywhere that are not yours. Well, one day this past April, I finished my early AM gym sesh and got the call that I didn't have to go to work that day. So naturally, I start to walk home all happy that I have the day to myself. I'm on the 5th floor, the uppermost floor of the building, and the apartment is in such a way that there is only one apartment per floor. I start to hustle up the stairs and don't use the elevator since I'm sweating from the gym anyway. Just as I whip a right to go up the last set of stairs from the 4th floor to the 5th floor, I see my neighbor's on the 3rd floor daughter coming down the stairs. We lock eye contact. We've never spoken before, mostly because we've never had a reason to, but also because out of respect, I didn't want to make her uncomfortable since she's 19 to 21-ish and I'm slightly older. The most interaction we've had is that I've spoken to her mother and father before when bumping into each other on the stairs. I gave a confused hello. At this point, I'm thinking that she maybe went to knock on my door to ask for something, a cup of sugar maybe, I don't know. I was expecting her to reply with something like, "Oh, hi, do you have any XYZ?" Nope, she gave a silent, "Hey," and brushed right past me. And only then, when the smell of my own shampoo hit me, did I notice her hair was wet. Oh, absolutely not. She better have the same shampoo as me, just showered from her house, came to the 5th floor to ask me for something, and that's why her hair is wet. Like, fresh out the shower a minute ago wet. Now, I'm not saying she showered in my house, or that I have a stalker that's been living in my house while I've been at work. She very easily could have just been there to ask for something, and most generic brand shampoos smell the same. But don't the pieces all fit a bit too well? Her hair color matches the hairs I would find around my apartment, and like I said before, they were everywhere. In my bed to in my sock drawers. Girl, if you needed some peace and quiet, coffee shops, libraries, parks exist for a reason. And if it is a case of me having a stalker, how did she know I came home early enough to bolt out the shower in time? If she's crazy enough to break into your home and shower, she's crazy enough to track you. Our apartment doesn't have cameras. It's an older building from before 2000. And why would she be stalking me? For how long has she been doing this? We've never dated, never had a proper conversation. I maybe saw her 20 times in the past 2 years, given that I work and she presumably studies or works too. As all these thoughts are buzzing through my head and I'm standing outside my door for a solid 2 minutes, grappling with what just happened, I go to turn the key to my door and it opens without me having to unlock it. And I know for a fact I always double lock my door. It's the type with a lock near waist level and a second more secure lock with a different key around shoulder level. I drop my bag, throw off my shoes, and run to the shower, and yup, it's wet. I hadn't showered since yesterday morning. I'm a confrontational person. Not that I go looking for fights, but I'll definitely pursue an answer if something is bugging me. So back down the stairs to the 3rd floor I went. Knocked on the door of my apparent stalker and her family. She opens the door, but with the chain still on. I see half of her face from behind the door. Yes? Can I help? Were you at my door or inside? I don't want to make this a police thing, but you came down the stairs and I know you were inside. I just had to get something. It won't happen again. Okay, bye. See you. I just had to get something? Hello? As if this is just an everyday thing, like neighbors, go into your house. I just had to get something. What? This happened last month. I've been cleaning my house every weekend closely now. Got the locks changed and put a motion sensor camera above my door. It only films and triggers on the steps coming up to my door, so the 4th apartment still have their privacy. So far, so good. I don't think she's been inside since, but looking back, I think she'd been living in or going in or whatever into my apartment since January because that's my earliest memory of finding hairs. She never took anything of value like my laptop or the few watches I have. Seemingly, she just showered and ate some of my food and laid in my bed. That's low-key worse than taking your TV. She invaded your safe space. I'm moving immediately. I do now also always take the elevator and avoid the 3rd floor like the plague. Edit. I'm not really worried about my safety because 1, I'm 200 pounds and do a lot of fighting training. Bro's been training for this day. The new camera has never gone off once since installed other than myself triggering it when I'm home. Finally, 3. I told the old retired husband and wife on the 4th floor that I suspected a robber was trying to break into my apartment last month. I didn't want to start spreading rumors and gossip. And asked them to keep an ear out when I'm at work. I feel fine and safe, just creeped out like my personal space has been violated. Edit 2. Someone DM'd me to check my coats and bags for AirTags as to how maybe she knew I was coming home early that day. I don't have a lot of stuff, so I think I would have 100% found it by now given how often I clean, but I'll defo do another sweep of my stuff. She's got him as a friend on Find My. Update. Hi all. Update following my last post a week back about me catching my neighbor coming out of my apartment having used my shower. My cousin's husband is a police officer, so I went to him directly about filing a report. This is the first thing you should have done even before finding the culprit. When you found that first hair, you should have done that. He came over to my apartment first as I give him a visual breakdown of what happened on the stairs and changes odd things I'd noticed in my apartment since January. Primarily just hairs everywhere and missing food, and how my door was unlocked that day. Though I did a thorough clean following the event on the stairs, my police friend was able to still find some hairs and so he bagged those up. I gave him my statement in detail and some dates best I could. When I remember finding the first hair, when I first noticed food missing, etc. Also, he advised me to not talk to the family, not even with a friend, to avoid any confusion or get lawyers involved or muddy the waters with accusations. With all that done, he left and came back 2 to 3 days later. He and his partner went to talk to the family on Sunday because they knew both parents would likely be home then. Long story short, she confessed to everything immediately. Yeah, there's no explaining 5 months of nonsense. And broke down into tears and apologized once my police friend brought up how 5 months of entering someone's home, even with the keys, is still very much an offense, and she could easily end up with a sentence of some should I pursue it, and that sentence could very easily involve the inside of a jail cell, irregardless of if she stole something or not. I don't know how true this is. It might have been just my friend and his partner pressing and exaggerating for a confession, but it worked. They talked for an hour with the parents and her all in the same room to get answers from her. Then the same day he came up to mine with his partner and they gave me the breakdown. Answers to commonly asked questions. How did she get in or have her own keys? The locks on her doors are the type that use a code on the lock barrel that only the manufacturer or partner approved locksmiths have access to. She knew this because her parents got the locks changed when they first moved in, and in fact, she used the same locksmith from all the way back then. The locksmith presumably remembered the family and apartment, but just didn't pay attention to it being the fifth floor this time instead of her own third floor. So he came over and took the barrel out, saw the code, and went and made a set of keys and done. I was none the wiser. Both my locks on my door are different brands, but presumably they operate in the same way to having two locks made no difference. If there's a will, there's a way apparently. How do you even think of hiring a whole locksmith? Anyone who said she just needed space, you were right. She has two younger siblings and her mother is a tutor, not a teacher as I presumed previously. She tutors at home. So at any given point, there's always some kids around the house. She would say to her parents she was going out to study or work or a girlfriend's house and use my house as a hotel while she studied or relaxed. The reason she used mine was partly because she knew it would be empty, but also because my schedule was predictable, as I work an average 9 to 5 like everyone else, but leave the house at 6:30 to get gym done too. That essentially gave her the house from 6 to 5. She turned this man's house into a free Airbnb. How long? My guess was right. It started in January once she figured I'd broken up with my girlfriend at the time around November. My girlfriend would stay at mine when I went to work and back sometimes. So yeah, that would have been an interesting situation if they had crossed paths. So then how did she know I was coming home early that day and that I wasn't going to work straight after the gym like usual, and so she bolted out the shower? Or on the days I didn't go to the gym, how did she know not to come in? Twofold. Firstly, I go to a commercial gym in my country, and so they have an app. Irregardless of if you're a member or not, one of the things in the apps lets you see how many people are in each branch, so you can see how full it is. All you have to do is download it and scan the QR code at the entrance by the turnstiles to add it to the My Gyms tab. It literally shows you like branch number 21, address 9 out of 50, 18% full. She would refresh the app in the morning, and if it went up by 1 around 6 to 6:30 and she heard me go downstairs or use the elevator, not hard when it's 6 a.m. and the apartment is otherwise silent, then she would know the house is empty. Now for the creepiest, most messed up bit of it all. She had put an AirTag on my car. She was committed. She insisted that she had only put it recently and initially just presumably gambled that I wouldn't be home sooner than expected. Or maybe she just put an ear to the door. But then one thing led to another, and yes, I don't know how much I believe this. Again, this could be an attempt to not look so guilty. That day when we clashed, she refreshed the app and saw I left the gym, but then my car didn't move. She connected the dots and tried to leave ASAP. She studied this man like a school project. I hope she puts this much effort in everything that she does. When she heard me coming up the stairs, she didn't have time to lock up, and so we met on the stairs with my door remaining closed but not locked. The using my shower, she claimed she didn't do it always, just on hot days or days she couldn't at home. I can't deny or confirm this. Like I said previously, being a gym goer, I showered 5+ times a week, so how did her parents never notice? Well, the dad leaves early for work, 5 a.m.-ish, since his bus route starts around 6. The mom is up around 6 to 7, but since she's preparing for her own students for the day and her own kids to send to school, she wasn't too bothered with her eldest 20-year-old daughter was really doing. She'd just say, I'm going to the college library, or I'm going to my girlfriend's, and that was good enough. Did she have a thing for me like a crush? My police friend didn't really say anything about this, presumably. He never asked, since it's not as important as other detail, or it never came back. It makes little difference. No, she had a thing for his apartment. The mom and dad both apologized to me, the mom via text and the dad in person at my door. He offered to pay for the camera I installed as his daughter was the direct cause of it, but it was cheap off of Amazon, so I said no, it's fine. We had a 10 to 15 minute conversation, and he was very apologetic and explained his daughter had always been extremely quiet and well behaved, so something like this would have never crossed his mind in a million years. He added that his daughter never had a boyfriend, at least that he knows of, and only has a few friends, so her social interaction skills aren't necessarily top-notch, and that even when guests would come, she'd hide away in the spare room. So to the few people who predicted that maybe COVID and lockdown led her to not having good social interaction skills, you were half right. He again offered me money for my troubles like missing food, new locks, and cleaning, etc., but I felt bad enough already. I declined. He did also ask if I would press charges, and I again said no. More on that below. He said he would send his daughter to apologize to me in person too when the situation has calmed down, as she's apparently very, very tense and upset and hasn't left her room in days. First of all, I'm glad she fessed up and she feels guilty. The parents seem blindsided by this behavior. Imagine you find out your 20-year-old daughter has just been breaking into someone's apartment and acting like it's hers. Am I going to press charges? No. I'm still not happy about the situation, especially the effing AirTag on my car, but the family is apologetic as well as the culprit herself, and honestly, no one is going to gain anything from this. I would like an apology though. For anyone that cares about the extra detail, she got the AirTag as a gift a while back from her parents because she kept losing her stuff. Have I seen her since? No, she won't apparently leave her room and is terrified that I'll press charges, though presumably her family's told her I said I won't. How do I feel currently? I was never especially worried or nervous. I just really creeped out about the whole situation. It felt like I had been a parasite host and somehow never noticed until then. I currently still feel a little angry and a small part of me is thinking to seek revenge. But any revenge I seek, like money or slander, is truthfully going to impact the parents more than her. Do I feel bad for her? Truthfully, no. She's not 10. She's 20 or something and educated, so yeah, you should be remorseful, feel guilty, and scared. Get over that hump and we'll talk. Plus, there's loads of spaces for young adults like public libraries and her college spaces. By no means was my house the only viable option. Finally, did she use my bed or wear my clothes? Believe it or not, yes, she did. Any advice I can give? Check your Wi-Fi devices. If I had checked that, I would have noticed her phone and laptop all the way back when. Obviously, my Wi-Fi modem is in my house, and so she helped herself to that. Again, it's one of those things. How often does one check their Wi-Fi devices? Truthfully. With all my family visiting me and their devices, I probably wouldn't have noticed one extra phone amongst the existing 10 plus. But I 100% would have noticed the one extra laptop. So let that be a lesson to all. And yes, I have removed her devices from the list and changed my password. Another lesson, home security. Today's all about learning. This girl could have gone to a library, a coffee shop, a park, or even the gym to shower, but she chose this poor man's house and made it a mission to know about all of his whereabouts. Although I do feel a little bit bad because she obviously has some social issues and maybe some issues at home, but she is a grown adult. You cannot secretly use someone else's apartment for 5 months. And the scariest part is how long it took him to notice and actually do something about it. Next story is from Best of Redditor Updates. Girlfriend, 24 female, wants me, 24 male, to stop hanging out with her father and refuses to explain why. How do I figure out what is going on? Trigger warning, infidelity. So this is a weird one, at least for me. Anne and I have been dating for a little over a year now. I met her parents when we were 2 months together or so. She always spoke very highly of them and never mentioned any conflict that could have been the cause of the current issue. I've had some bad experiences with fathers in my past relationship, but Anne's father was a nice surprise to have. He's a very cool dude, and you can see he truly cares about his family and the happiness of every member. After I met her parents and got along with them, we would visit them at least twice a month. Sometimes it was Anne's idea, and sometimes her parents would invite us to dinner with Anne's siblings. Once again, those were always positive experiences, and both me and Anne enjoyed it. Then one day, her father invited me to meet him so we could get some beer. I invited Anne, but she didn't want to, so I went by myself. He talked about his life, his job, random topics, and I did the same. I had a pretty good time, so when he invited me the next month, I went again. So this became a thing. Each month, we meet up to drink beer and talk. Dads are hard to impress, so you're doing a pretty damn good job there. Anne never said anything negative about this. In fact, when I would come back, she would ask if I had fun, and we would talk a little bit about it. I was surprised 3 days ago to have her come and ask me to stop hanging out with her father. I asked if something had happened and she said that it didn't. She wanted me to stop. Sounds like someone might be jealous that they're becoming besties. This was something new because we usually talk about everything as openly as we can manage. It was something that we made sure to establish at the beginning due to our past experiences. So this is very strange behavior coming from her. I tried asking if they had argued or if he had said/done something to upset her, but she changes the subject or flat out tells me to just stop hanging out with him and move on. Bending beers with dad? Something's very wrong. I don't know if I should ask her father about this, and to be honest, it is not something that I want to do. Everything is normal unless I bring up this subject. Just today, she was talking about her family planning the birthday of her sister next week, and it was like nothing was happening. I don't want to make decisions without knowing what's going on behind them, but I don't know how to get the answers without having to bring in more people into this. Anyone can give me some insight? I think you should question it but not push it because you kind of don't know the family issues. Or you might be talking about something with your father-in-law that you shouldn't be. Updates. So I just want to start by saying that I should probably start paying more close attention to the people around me. After I made the post, I decided the best route was to speak to Anne about our relationship and dig more into the father issue later. To my surprise, this time it didn't take long because she just burst into tears. She reassured me that everything was fine between us, but there was an issue with her parents and I wasn't supposed to know from her, but she is very angry at her father and this is how the issue between us came to be. Her father is having an affair. He's been seeing this woman for 10 months. Damn it. It just had to be cheating. I knew it was bad, but I didn't think it was that bad. Anne's mother had no idea something was up until he was going out with me for a beer, and then later Anne sent a picture of me and her at a party that same night. Good old Reliable wasn't so reliable there, buddy. Then he went out twice to meet up with me for a beer, which was weird. We only went out once a month. But he told her I was helping him out with an idea for a project he had for their house. Since at this point she was suspicious, she started to check with Anne whenever he said he was going out with me. So it's not that the dad absolutely loved the boyfriend, it's that he was using him as an excuse to go out and cheat. And then sometimes he would have to actually get a beer with him to make it believable. Things started to get more obvious, and Anne's father ended up coming clean a few weeks ago. They broke the news to their sons and daughters, but had a special talk with Anne since her father had been using my name in this mess, and her mother thought it was only right for him to talk to me and apologize. Anne tried to keep quiet, but ended up lashing out, which caused the issue between us. I did have a talk with her father, and it was extremely awkward. He apologized and said he hoped we could keep being friends once everything was settled. Don't know about that, though. These cheaters just think that we can just all move on. Anne has also apologized, but this has really taken a toll on her, so I'm not holding it against her. Thanks to everyone who replied to the first post. Even though most of you made me a little paranoid that I was going to get dumped, I still got some good insight. The dad just messed everything up for no reason. He's probably headed for divorce, his daughter lost all trust in him, and he no longer has a beer run buddy. Anyways, now for the last story of the day. This one also comes from Best of Redditor Updates. Am I the a-hole for leaving my friend's fiance stranded for trying to make a move on me? Trigger warning, attempted sexual assault. Hi Reddit, this is my first time posting, so I'll try to explain everything as clearly as I can. I, 21 female, have a friend named Tegan, 22 female, and her fiance Luca, 21 male. This story hints to sexual harassment, but not SA, so I didn't mark it that because I'm afraid of screwing up, so here's a warning. A couple weeks ago, our friend group went out drinking. Almost everyone got super drunk except me and Tegan because we were the designated drivers. Somehow, Luca ended up in my car instead of Tegan's, which was super annoying because his apartment is in the opposite direction from my group's apartments. So I had to make a huge detour to drop him off. Being the kind person I was, I decided to drop my girls off at their apartment because it's not their fault. Luca was being a drunk ass clown with his head shoved so far up his ass he could perform his own free colonoscopy. I dropped my girls off and it was just me and Luca in the car. That does not sound good. So basically, half my friend group lives at apartment building A, half lives in apartment building B, and then Tegan and Luca live in apartment C. At first it was fine, we were just chatting and sitting in silence, but then he started insisting we pull over at some gas station because he needed something. I honestly don't remember if it was water, snacks, or a bathroom. I agreed because I thought it was harmless. But as soon as we were parked, he started getting weird and making advances on me. I immediately said no and tried to push him away, but he's bigger than me and kept getting aggressive, saying some ridiculous shit like, "You'd enjoy it and no one will find out." No, thank you. I was freaking the fuck out because the situation was escalating and my ass was going to be fried if he tried something because I'm much smaller than him and I wouldn't stand a chance defending myself. He was thinking about this because he made you pull over to a gas station to buy time and attempt to assault you. So I made the decision to leave. I told him to get out of my car and I drove off. He was obviously pissed, but I left him at the gas station anyways. And honestly, he should have been kicked out of that car from the jump. The area isn't sketchy, there's plenty of Ubers, and he had a phone and money. His apartment is about a 15 or 20 minute walk from there, so I didn't think I was actually endangering him. Tegan is now pissed at me for good reason. I haven't told her any of the story. She thinks I just left her fiance stranded for no reason and now she's upset with me. As she should. She keeps saying I endangered Luca and that I should apologize. But I literally can't explain why I left him without spilling what he did. I also feel disgusted and disrespected looking at him or being around him now. Their wedding is coming up soon and I'm scared this will ruin their relationship if I spill, and ours if I don't. He's overall a pretty nice guy, but part of me thinks I should tell Tegan before the wedding happens. But I also don't want to destroy her relationship over a drunken night that got out of control. This stuff has never happened before, so I feel bad blowing it out of proportion. Reddit, please help a girl out. Tell Tegan immediately. This is not your fault. If he can do this to his fiance's friend, just imagine what else he can do. Being drunk is not an excuse. Update. Tegan and I talked late on Easter Sunday, and honestly, she wasn't as upset as I expected. Thankfully, I have one of those cameras that mounts on your car's mirror. I can't remember what it's called right now. It's a dash cam. But it clearly shows him throwing a tantrum after I kicked him out of my car. We've been friends for much longer than they've been in a relationship, and she chose to trust my side of the story over his. She confronted him the next day and recorded the entire conversation for me to listen to. He claimed that I was lying. The classic deny, deny, deny. But when she asked him to explain what happened, his original story of me kicking him out for no reason shifted into me trying to make a move on him. Oh yeah, because everyone wants you. You're so hot. She called out his lying ass and beat his idiotic claims into the ground through her amazing debate skills. Because of that, the wedding has been called off and so has their engagement. She doesn't have anything against me either. Thank you so much for the advice, Reddit. Thankfully, you had all the evidence, and hey, maybe Tegan didn't even need the evidence because her man's a creep. It's a win-win. Tegan got rid of a lying piece of trash, and now y'all's friendship is even stronger. That's honestly the best possible outcome. That's all for today, guys. Let me know y'all's thoughts on these stories. I hope y'all enjoyed. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.